Welcome to the freewheeling cavalcade of circular motion, thus defined by the octagon table of double-wide mental introspection and dedicated utilitarian outward thinking in defense of zero content. Translation: we ain't got nothing. Oh, hey, folks, Dude here, coming to again, in the duration of Dude After Dark. Of course, I'm trying to eat my sketties here. Hang on a second, I'm going to spear me another piece of sausage. Ow. Not the best, but adequate enough. I went to the grocery store and found some stuff. And I seem to be back in full voice without dealing with obnoxious quantities of yummies. And I do mean like ridiculous gurgling, hacking, sneezing, just. I did not fart after I sneezed, sound guy. It was not nearly that bad.
Fatality.
Okay, it was not that bad. I mean, yeah, I was obviously dealing with the hacking, coughing, not sneezing and farting, but the hacking, coughing, sneezing, just dealing with the, just... Sound guy.
No zone.
Okay, I did not sneeze and that. I didn't do any of the rest of the activities that he said I did, okay? It was not like that at all, okay? It was not just...
Fatality.
It was not sneeze, fart, fatality. Whatever. No, sound guy. No, it was not like that at all. It was just really just a lot of hacking, coughing, carrying on, and no, you do not get a ding for that, okay? Stop. No, it was really just a bad case of just okay, I wouldn't say it was wee, but it was not fun, all right? Barry Cash on the room. Appreciate you coming by, brother. Got me live 5x5. Good stuff like that there. And as much as I can kind of detune sound guy right now, hopefully he's not going to be doing the rest of the,
Death! By snoo-snoo!
No. You are not getting snoo-snoo. No.
Snoo-snoo!
No. As a matter of fact, sound guy doesn't know it, but he's not exactly a young guy anymore, and I've replaced all of his Viagra with vitamin pills. Yeah, you're not getting any. No, you're going to be pushing the rope uphill, and the girl's going to get really frustrated, and you're going to be going, but it worked the other day. Yeah, and now it's just a bad case of just... Yeah, sorry, sound guy.
You're despicable.
Yeah, well, I'm sure the girl's looking at you and going, no. Yeah, she's saying you brought the wrong tools for the wrong job. Anyway, speaking of wrong tools for the wrong job, obviously you guys have heard the news reports. Obviously, Hamas literally blasted one of their own hospitals. Now, immediately, of course, they turned it into a major thing to say, well, look what these Israelis are doing. They bombed our place. They killed a bunch of our guys. How do you allow these things to happen in a peaceful society and in a world where potentially these Jews are just being uppity? Well, the thing about it is they say that the one that hit the Al-Alahi Arabia Hospital in Gaza City last Tuesday, and it was claimed by Hamas to be an Israeli airstrike. Well, it's easy to notify anybody with about 5 seconds of video footage to go, yeah, that wasn't Israeli. And the reason being is there's four main parts that you can add to this. Basically what it is when the bomb struck, and it was literally a rocket. It was not a bomb. It was not something that they launched from, one of their fighter jets or, obviously a deployed munition. Otherwise, they're read a rocket. It was literally the guys in Hamas writing off their own people and saying, we're going to make a big splash here to take the wind out of the sails of a visit by Joe Biden, as it were. So, excuse me 1 second here. I need a sip of ticker juice. So, the 4 parts that I pretty much have done in my own research and found out is essentially the way, shape, and form of the actual impact area itself. Well, it landed in a parking lot where they had people, quote unquote, triaged. And triage is essentially a French word meaning you go through everybody that's basically getting trucked into the hospital and you look at them and you go, bad, not so bad, he's dead. Take him right now. This one going over to that surgery. This one can go to this guy. Hey, you 2 attending guys, deal with this blood spurting. And you literally walk through the place, or you're going from person to person and you're doing on-the-spot diagnosis and where they fall in the realm of savability to this guy's a dead duck. And then you can actually then dispense treatment or figure out where they need to go to next. So in that parking lot was an area of triage. Now, even the Israelis in their most pissed off state, I don't think they're going to go, there's this parking lot full of Palestinian guys, and they're really not our favorite people right now. It would make a really good dent in the works to simply just drop this munition right in the parking lot and just splat all these guys. I really don't think that's the way the Israelis work, because it is a fight between Hamas and Israel, not Hamas and the Palestinian people. You can ask any Israeli, they really don't have a major problem with the Palestinians themselves. They're like, you know what? You stay over there, do your thing, all your drama, all your hate, all the rest of that fun stuff. As long as it doesn't come over to my side and indirectly or directly affect me and make my life suck, I don't care what you think, what you say, or what you do. Now, the Hamas guys, on the other hand, being the feudal overlords that they are, really just kind of see the Palestinians as convenient targets of opportunity, shield, or merely manpower of which to utilize and place in harm's way so the Israelis don't hit back. But in that strike, I can give you 4 things that are really paramount in the way it took place. Number 1, the munition struck a parking lot, which is probably like either dirt or blacktop or whatever. There's no crater. It basically was, striking and just munition exploding ground level. That's anti-personnel. That is not the way that the Israelis build their munitions. Their munitions go in and make a heck of a splat. That is not how it works with the Israeli munitions compared to the homebrew stuff that the Hamas guys are making. They hit and destroy an area with shrapnel flying everywhere as much as possible to do as much secondary collateral damage and anti-personnel devices. Number 2 is the major death and collateral injuries that were created in that explosion. Well, that's again a component of the Palestinian missile style of basically human damage versus logistical damage. 3, when that thing hit, it made a huge fireball. Not just like, bang explosion, because that's one of the things most people really truly don't get is when you see military munitions being utilized, there's usually not a big bang. It's mostly just you see the device strike and boom, dust and stuff flies everywhere. It's not like the Hollywood, big fireball and, secondary explosions and all this falderall and stuff flying everywhere. That usually isn't how military munitions work. They usually want them to go in, strike the target, do the maximum amount of damage in the target, not blow off a bunch of energy going out everywhere and making a big show. That's not how it works in the real world. But the way that rocket came in and exploded in that parking lot for that hospital area was a fully fueled rocket. Translation, it was a rocket built to go from point A to point B, being someplace over in southern Israel, over the Gaza area and into the Israel area. And that thing was still full of gas. That's where the secondary explosion came from, and that's why it was such a big honking fireball. Now, the thing about it is immediately they were like, see what these Israelis are doing and see how horrible it is and bloody, 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 blood, all this, who shot John and all the rest of it. But the thing about it is Israel can document the launch. They can document the flight. They can even document the impact confirmation at exact time. And they can state clearly that wasn't one of ours, man. And the other thing, too, is they have no reason to lie about it. You will note terrorists have a really bad, mindset about kind of stretching the truth, kind of tweaking things up a little bit to look good for their side and bad for the other side, because that's just how they go. The first thing to die in combat or any war is the truth. So it could be stated most clearly that the Israelis weren't launching one of theirs. That was definitely a Hamas device that came back down in Gaza on their own guys. They literally wrote those people off. And the thing about it is, it's just manipulation on their part to say, well, it's the Israelis doing these things. It's horrible. But I think potentially Hamas might need to get a shipment of Viagra, because they're really having a problem of getting it up, and they're spewing their load all over the place instead of where they intended to go. I think that, they really disappointed her. Let's see. Scrolly. I did make a comment on Facebook. Hang on a second. I need to take a bite here. Sausage looking at me. If you go on Facebook, they have what YouTube calls shorts. Facebook calls reels. Now, the thing about it is obviously there's a whole bunch of very sympathetic Arab guys, Shia, Sunni, call it what you will, Persian, whomever from what side of the equation you're looking at. And they're immediately looking at the reason and the ability and the chance they're in to take swipes at Israel. See me 1 second here. Facebook is not doing any editing as the ones that are really potentially just very discriminatory towards the Jewish state. So, give me 1 second here. But anyway, what I said essentially, open statement, and I really got to clean this up. But hey, Facebook, posting up an S-ton, and an S-hit is what I mean, S-hit ton of anti-Israeli, pro-Palestinian reels does not change my mind about how the cowardly Gaza guys attacked the Jewish state. F Chuck you for trying. And I got a couple comments on it. Some people like that. But essentially what it is some of my other friends have actually had like their accounts restricted because they're posting, pro-Israeli things, or they're posting stuff up that is showing the Hamas guys in a bad light, or the Hezbollah guys in a bad light. And I really have no problem whatsoever in stating both Hamas and Hezbollah are terrorist organizations, and they both basically suck. There's no other way to say it other than simply for what they truly are. Speaking of somebody else that really, truly, completely sucks, and I got to flip a couple of letters here, but an old utter C-nut and change the U and the N, so a C-nut. He's deciding to save a few bucks by screwing over his staff. Yeah, who is it? Well, we're talking about, of course, about George Soros. George Soros and the Soros Foundation, this coming up truthsprouts.com, is closing offices around the world and cutting more than 40% of his staff. Why is that? Well, maybe because it basically the BLM is winding down because they did get Joe Kaka in office. It's probably going to be a one-trick pony to get, Joe Kaka in office the way that they did originally, screwing over Trump and really doing some really sketch stuff to get him in the election process. I think that's going to be a one-trick pony. Also, I think it's going to be a one-trick pony was, of course, the COVID lockdown, anything else that you could be using as a distraction or a way of diminishing the voting public. I think that's a one-shot, basically one-trick pony. So reading from the article, it says, George Soros Open Society Foundation is going through its second restructuring in 3 years, with the result that staff worldwide would be cut by nearly half. That's because they pretty much have done their job. They've installed some seriously socialist people. Could be said that a whole bunch of attorney generals that really, truly don't prosecute, they choose not to prosecute, and they enable the bad guys by simply not furthering the cases. All these guys have pretty much been installed. Now, what it came down to being was essentially Soros figured out getting somebody in Congress or Senate is actually really bloody damn expensive. Getting somebody in a lesser office or a lower position office, a lower rung, as it were, or something along the lines of an attorney general or like a lieutenant general or basically somebody that could be like, some high muckety muck in the state government is way cheaper than going for a congressman, a senator, or potentially even putting in a president. Patriot Fever's in the room. He says, Patriot Semper Fi, reporting from the mid tent. Little Patriot one with double pink eye. Patriot Fever, you're saying which one of Dante's Rings of Inferno? I don't know, but selling out his own race, doing the unscrupulous monetary stuff that he did. I mean, remember, the only time that it records in the Bible is when Jesus got violent was the money changers in the religious place. Yeah. And what has Soros been known to do? Well, he screwed the Brits unbelievably bad back in the early 70s by short selling their cash, making a ton of money and completely hosing the British pound. Excuse me, this piece of sausage is looking at me and it's looking suspect, and I suspect it's going to get eaten. Sausage is always good. So let's scroll. Emails obtained by Bloomberg said the organization's board of directors has decided over the summer to cut employees and close offices. Also, because probably stuff's in a downturn, and I was talking with one of my friends. Let me read you the direct quote, cleaning it up as much as possible here. But one of my friends that I was talking to in a private chat, I'm going to say blame the rich guys getting their wish. But once they hold most of the money, now what? So once you have a society of plutocrats who hold the majority of the riches of the world, once you have it all, where do you go to from there? I mean, that's like one of my favorite Twilight Zone episodes is you see this guy and he's basically walking around and he's playing cards and he's playing dice and he's playing pool games and he cannot lose. I mean, he absolutely is unbelievable with everything he's knocking out as victories. The guy is he's winning left, right, and center. Every girl he hits on, he gets. He's like, this is amazing. This is like, basically the best of the best of the best. I can do anything I want. I can get anything I want. I got, pocket full of cash. I have chicks lined up down the hallway. This is amazing. And hang on one second here. So the guy can't lose. And he runs into this kind of slimy character. And he's like, explain the situation. It's like, this is amazing. He goes, I never really had a great life. I was actually kind of a dirtbag. And, I really was robbing people, doing all kinds of unscrupulous stuff. And I never really did anything good to people. I mean, I'm like, this is like heaven. I mean, anything I want, I get. It's almost like it's too easy. It's almost like it's becoming like repetitious. Like everything I ever wanted, I can get. And I can win it. And I can basically, be completely triumphant in my process of obtaining these things. And, he's like bemoaning these facts. And the guy's like, so what do you think? He goes, do you think this is heaven? He goes, I don't know, man. It's like everything I've ever wanted, I get too easy. He goes, would you ever think maybe it's the other place? And the guy goes, no. He goes, because maybe it is the other place. So literally what the guy did was he was in the afterlife and he wasn't upstairs. He was downstairs. Forget the title of the episode, but it was actually kind of cool. So anyway, jumping back into this thing, with the decision by the board by June to cut the staff by more than 40% of our staffing size and footprint by necessity needs to diminish. Basically what that says is we have less people, we're going to be spending less money, we're going to need to put out less funds. Yeah, he's hosing his people. Yes, he's hosing his people. Scroll. Speaking of other people completely screwing themselves, oh, you guys did this to yourself. You did this to yourself. You completely, utterly stupid a-holes. Now, also coming in from truthpress.com. Now, you guys know Harvard has this prestige of, once you go to Harvard, the world is your oyster. You can't possibly lose. Everything that you're doing is going to be so freaking amazing because you have this sheepskin on the wall that says you went to Harvard. So, basically these guys going to that school and spending scads of cash. I mean, it is not a cheap school to attend. I forget what the exact dollar amount is per year, but it's up there. It's like tens of thousands per year. More than probably I don't know if it's more than my yearly salary, but it's up there per year. Then, of course, you got to remember room and board and all the rest of the folderol, books, tchotchkes, internet, blah, blah, blah. You get down to a point where the number just keeps, growing and growing. And FATA is going, yes, I'll have to shell out more coin. Yeah. But, they want their kid to have the leg up by going to Harvard. So, anyway, like I said in the news story coming in from truthpress.com, Harvard students are now playing the victim after losing job opportunities over Hamas support. Yeah, the bogus victimhood is bottomless because grievance in the coin is a realm, because many of them incapable of arguing any other way. It should be unsurprising to see figures like Rashida Tlaib and various other Hamas apologists and anti-Semites claim that somehow they're the ones who've been wronged over the last 2 weeks in a development that truly defies parody. Harvard students who signed an egregious terrorism justifying statement are now whining about quote unquote bullying they're experiencing over the moral disgrace which they signed their names. They're even soliciting financial donations to quote unquote supposedly finance mental health support in the face of this hardship. The hardcore left has labored for years to twist the meaning of the word violence beyond all recognition, expanding it to entail virtually anything that they don't like, while exempting various manifestations of actual physical violence that they happen to favor. So comments like this are inevitable. Now, I did read, I was listening to the news and they were talking about this. I don't need to go further in this article. I can riff on my own. But essentially what it is like big companies are looking at this going, oh yeah, we've taken down a list of all the names. We've taken down a list of all the people. We've taken down a list of all these kids that signed on to this crap and said, we support Hamas, down with Israel, blah, 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 blah. Well, technically, what you should be doing in that time of life, you should be aesthetically, politically neutral. You should be in school learning to do what you need to do in your line of work, not anything else, not any other realm of reference in which to place yourself upon. And you surely, truly don't want to be the political dissident going, I'm backing these guys that are against these guys because these guys I like better than those guys. And those guys I think are better than these guys because, oh yeah, in my college professor's brain, I've been programmed now to hate those guys versus these guys because all those guys are now groups of which I don't know a damn thing except everything that they've installed in my brain in college. So anyway, way, shape, and form in which we find ourselves, these kids have now found themselves on a list and they now have acquired, they basically got...
Fact check.
Oh, they got big cucking.
Fact check.
Yeah, they're now seen as the Chinese Communist covert viral infection. I don't know about that one, sound guy. I think maybe they were more like,
Fact check.
Oh, okay, all right. So they were outside protesting, right? And they got...
Fact check.
And then they got cucked. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. So sound guy approved of my alliteration of what he was trying to do there. Yeah. So anyway, basically these guys completely screwed themselves. Yeah. I think the CEOs and the COOs and all the rest of the CCCs and all these corporate organizations are looking to these guys and and put them squarely in the
No zone.
Oh yeah, they got a bad case of Sure, okay, whatever. All right, I think they pretty much just got a bad case of
You!
yeah. Primarily, they just got that. They are now going to be the unwanted in the higher levels, no matter what piece of sheepskin they got hanging on the wall. Speaking of a bad case of
You!
Cher has threatened to leave America with an ultimatum. I thought she was going to leave the United States to begin with when Trump got elected the first time. Ugh. Um. Oh, Patriot Fever, TMI. I'm not taking that one out the room. Wow. Coming in from AmericanJournalDaily.com. Cher says she's leaving the country if Trump is elected. This is coming in from Breitbart. Left-wing pop star Cher says she'll leave the United States if former President Donald Trump is re-elected, claiming she, quote, almost got an ulcer, end quote, when Trump was elected president in 2016. Quote, I almost got an ulcer last time Trump was elected. If he gets in, who knows? This time I will leave the country. You said that the hollow threat of all these libtards screaming and carrying on about, I'm leaving the country if you elect this person. I'm going to have a temper tantrum. There's only one way to fix these screaming Hollywood types and liberal notables who think that there's somebody other than what they are.
I say we take off and nuke the entire bitch from orbit.
Well, I don't know about that one, sound guy, but there is other ways to deal with them. You simply just look at anything that they're doing, any kind of exercise that they're doing to generate funds, and you just say,
No. 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 Hell no. 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 I refuse. No. That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
yeah, I mean, you just got to put them in the no-no
I
zone.
say we take off and nuke the entire no-no zone from orbit.
Are you done? All right. Well, anyway, she's firmly in the
No zone.
for me. I mean, I never thought she was all that great to begin with. So I'm really not suffering having nothing of her in my daily existence. I'm fine with ignoring her further. This one I'm gonna kind of go on a little bit of a tangent here, but survival stuff and what you really truly need to have to actually live on. Excuse me one second here. I mean, it's really hard to beat if you know what you're getting. Local foraging for berries, as long as you know the safe ones. And trust me, it is a hard-won talent to know which is good, which is bad, and which will put you on your dead duck. Don't eat crap unless you are absolutely sure of what it is. But anyway, let me scroll on down here. And this one's actually kind of a little bit of a longer read, but I thought it was kind of cool. So I'm going to jump into it here. This is on a Facebook page called Gallipoli 1915. So writing on 16 October 1915, SPR, I guess, I don't know what rank that is. Augustus Healy, first of the 2nd East Anglian Field Company Royal Engineers, described the food available to him at Anzac. Quote, with regard to our food, the best meal of the day is breakfast, when we get tea, bacon, and army biscuits. Now, army biscuits, I'm essentially thinking, are very much like hardtack. They're not going to be very flavorful. They're probably going to be rock freaking hard. And they're intended to be stuck in a box and store since Christ was a cadet until his return. So anyway, for dinner, we would have bully beef and biscuits and sometimes boiled rice. And at tea time, we would have tea, jam, and biscuits. Occasionally, about once a week, we would get fresh meat, and about twice a week, we'd get bread, which we consider a huge luxury. Now, you got to remember back then, the bread didn't have any of the chemicals. It was basically either a 4 or 5 ingredient thing, and if you didn't eat it in good time, it would mold and would go bad, and obviously it would go stale very, very quickly because unlike modern bread, it was real stuff back then. Real stuff. Which we consider a huge luxury. You ought to be able to judge from what sort of parcels we should welcome out here. We get an issue of cigarettes, but we do not get anything like enough. They are of great commercial value, money being no good to us at all. When I first landed, I was offered 2D, I know what that means, for one cigarette. Of course, I did not take the chaps 2D. Some nights we get an issue of some. Matches are very scarce out here. Cigarette paper, too, are very valuable. So essentially, in between, dealing with the lack of food, you got to have some cigarettes to, kind of pass the time. And if you're not in combat and smoking, back then, something was really, really wrong because everybody smoked. Quote, considering the trials and hardships we're going through, I think the boys are showing a wonderful spirit and keeping their pecker up jolly well. While I am speaking of food, I ought to have mentioned how we do a lot of cooking for ourselves. The following are a few recipes. Quote, to make rissoles, soak some army biscuits, chop up some bully beef and onions up fine, and mix them all together and fry them up in fat. The great trouble is we cannot get a hold of enough fat for frying purposes. Quote, pancakes that are made by mixing flour and water till it forms a kind of base and then frying it in fat, but flour is scarcer than fat. Biscuit puddings. Soak some army biscuits, mix them up, and boil them in a cloth. When they are finished, they look like Bedfordshire clanger. Of course, the section cooks do not make these things for us. This is what we do on our own. Now, what I did on my own was I basically kind of, rounded that out with more stuff. Dude, okay. I am not happy about that one. I will definitely go in the settings and I will remove that setting in the future. Sorry about that one, Patriot Fever. I will make sure that doesn't happen again. It's like, mid-roll credits, it popped up and I think it was a new setting, but I won't do that again. I will definitely make sure there is no more mid-roll credits. I don't care, so much about AdSense because I really don't make anything anyway. But, in that stuff, no, we're going to remove that entirely. It's going to be a one and done for this video, and I do apologize. Mid-roll credits will not happen again. So scroll. Hopefully the video then does pick up after that. Like it basically kind of breaks to like a commercial, then goes back into it. I would truly recommend to every single person on YouTube get a blocker. Definitely get a commercial blocker, and your life gets so much better because you're not waiting for a commercial to play or some other stupid thing to pop up. It's really, truly annoying. As a matter of fact, I hate watching YouTube videos on my phone for exactly that reason. Every commercial that pops up, oh, wait for 10 more seconds. Oh, wait for 15 more seconds. Oh, it's only a 30-second commercial. It's like, you know what? Boop. Drag it off. I'll watch it at home later on where you're going to get blocked because I ain't watching your stupid ass commercials because I'm not supporting YouTube at all. Because considering the crap they've done to me over the years, they don't deserve a dime of my revenue. Now, what I said in terms of like the guys in Gallipoli, I would sub Spam or other square tin pork or beef for bully beef and pilot crackers or homemade hardtack for the biscuits. Otherwise, very correct for dealing with long-time store items in a combat situation. For fat, sub in jars of ghee, since the store is extremely low long-term and never anything hydrogenated. Shortening is absolutely horrendously bad for all your cardiovascular. Don't do it. Scrolly. This one kind of cracked me up because this is just another case of the Israelis being the smart, inventive guys that they really, truly are. Just give me 1 second here. This one coming in from truthpress.com. The Israeli army unleashes a game-changing weapon that neutralizes threats. So, the Israeli forces released footage of the quote-unquote Iron Sting system, which launches a mortar bomb to take out a rocket launcher in the first ever use in an operation on Sunday. The Iron Sting is described as a, quote, an innovative and accurate mortar bomb, end quote. It has a variety of weapons being used to thwart dozens of terrorists. The Israeli Air Force posted on X, formerly Twitter, along with a video it said showed a 120 millimeter mortar decimating an enemy rocket launcher. The Israeli army used the weapon system in conjunction with the Israeli Air Force. The weapon system uses precise laser and GPS-guided mortar munition to engage targets in dense urban environments while, quote, reducing the possibility of collateral damage and preventing injury to non-combatants. Elbit Systems, which developed the system, said in a 2021 news release, quote, its operational use will revolutionize ground warfare and equip battalions with organic, accurate, and effective firepower, the release said. So literally what this thing does is they may have somebody up in a plane lasing a target. So instead of them dropping the bomb, the guy on the ground goes, okay, you got your target? Yeah. Woo. Bloop. So that's literally what they're doing is they're doing a ground launch munition to engage these targets rather than a plane tooling around and zapping them from up above. Now, in terms of close and imperfect, it's not exact science, which is probably why you got the guy up above, or you have a drone up above. And if they knock out a drone, you're not going to cry. Case in point, there's some really, really good videos floating around now I've seen. So you see the Russian tank. The Russian tank's got its hatch open. So the Russian guys are hanging out beside their tank. The Ukrainian guys are like, hey, here's the target of opportunity. You see the drone ticking along, and it's from a camera down view. The drone's ticking along, and goes up. There's the target, releases a grenade. The grenade drops through the hatch, bounces off the seat, goes to the back of the tank, and you see everybody just go poof. So if they knock that drone out, are they going to cry? Maybe a little bit. They go, oh, man, now we got to get another drone. We got to load it up. We got to put it back into action. Now we got to do this, that, and the other thing. But in terms of the actual expenditure of person versus device, devices are easy to make. People are not so easy. Quote, the Iron Sting fulfills the IDF needs, adapting combat capabilities to contend with enemies hidden within civilian urban environments while dealing with legal and moral standards set by the State of Israel. Then Defense Minister Benny Gantz said in the release. Israeli forces have conducted thousands of airstrikes in Gaza and the West Bank following Hamas's unprecedented attack on October 7. More than 1,400 people in Israel killed during the war. This, that, the other. It's the rest of that's a rehash. But essentially, that device really kind of takes the fight back to him. Scroll. This guy, I'm gonna jump the pond here and go back to our little state of affairs, and I do mean those things going on in Congress right now. And one of my friends actually had a really funny line years ago. He's like, "Hey, you know the difference between pro and con?" I was like, "Yeah, I do." He goes, "Well, if pro is progress, what's con?" And I was like, "Oh, that's hilarious." Yeah. So progress versus Congress. Supposedly they're now kicking around the idea of another guy. So Representative Tom Emmer, and I don't like him. Okay. I'm going to be very, very clear here. I do not like him for two reasons. One, he's a Republican going, let's certify the 2020 election, while also looking at all kinds of chicanery. And obviously things were not completely up and up with that election. He's like, yeah, let's certify it. Bam. Also, pro-abortion. And I don't mean just pro. I mean pro-abortion. So both these things kind of screws the pooch for you with a bunch of those guys in Congress. There's at least 20 people that you know for a fact you ain't getting their vote. And with such slim margins, you're going to have to cross the aisles and basically Joe Bob, and I'm saying Joe Bob as in reverse the letters. You're going to have to Joe Bob the Democrats and make them happy. So it's really sketch. I don't like this guy, and I really truly think it is completely an error to try to put somebody like that in there who is not more conservative. I have no feelings whatsoever in terms of any possibility this guy is ever going to get to be the Speaker of the House. He ain't going to be it. Trust me in that one. Scrolly. Now, this one I think is interesting. And I'm jumping back to Israel again. For some reason, it's just the way the news stories ran. Netanyahu's delaying the Gaza invasion amid hostage concerns. That's the only reason they haven't gone through this place like crap through a goose. So supposedly Hamas has 200 hostages in Gaza, and you better pray that they don't die beforehand, Mr. Hamas guy, or you are going to get your ass handed to you, and you're going to be wearing your ass as a hat. You better take really good care of those people. But yeah, supposedly, they're asking for humanitarian truce. All the usual screaming Mimiites in Europe are saying, just butt kiss, brown nose, play nice. Yeah, well, they didn't lose the equivalent of the United States losing 30,000 people in one day. Yeah. Scrolly. This one is kind of one of those very interesting stories that one thing kind of leads into another, right? So Joe Kaka yanks us out of Afghanistan prematurely to doing anything potentially like, getting our stuff out of there, just wrecking it. Hang on a second here. I got to do something. I hate when it does that autoplay thing. Hang on. Yeah, there we go. You're not going to do that one again. Yeah. Anyway, so coming in from newsmax.com, and truly, they are like on the ragged edge of me having them as a subscriber for their emails because they send you so much crap. I'm not a huge fan of Newsmax, trust me. But the House GOP wants answers. Oh, you buttholes. The House GOP wants answers about the U.S. weapons in Hamas's hands. And that's a very interesting component therein. Why are these things in their hands? Stop. Trying to scroll past and the stupid thing starts playing. So like I said, it's coming in from Newsmax. House Republicans sent a letter to Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin on Monday asking for a briefing on how closely the Department of Defense is monitoring the flow of U.S. weaponry to Hamas being used in the terrorist onslaught against the key ally, also known as Israel, the Washington Examiner reported. In a letter authored by House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer, representative of Kentucky, and Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, representative of Georgia, they asked Austin to appear on Capitol Hill next Monday amid reports that U.S. arms are making their way into the hands of terrorists from Afghanistan and the battlefields in Ukraine. So, we're shipping hit tons of stuff over to Ukraine, and Ukraine might be doing some profiteering by second selling those items off to Hamas or second selling them off to Iran. And then Iran is second selling them off to the guys in Hamas. Or there could be some chicanery stuff slipping in from, I don't know, the tunnels underneath the Gaza going into Egypt. Yeah. There's a whole pipeline of ways for them, the guys, to get that stuff in there and then utilize it against our friends in Israel. Excuse me 1 second here. Tiger juice. Hey, Martina Sasquatch in the room. Appreciate you, man. Says Cali is in the midst of a weird, warm winter that comes every few years. Well, it's Cali. Anything's possible. Okay. All right. Patriot Fever, you need to watch The Patriot again. That is like the best movie for knife and hawk throwing I think I've seen in a long time. P Flash, appreciate you coming in, dude. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. So let's see. Scrolly. Quote, the committee seen reports that the U.S. manufactured weapons are being redistributed and resold in secondary markets to terrorist organizations, including Hamas, Comer and Green wrote, according to the Examiner. The pair requesting a briefing on DOD, quote, procedures for preventing, addressing, and mitigating weapons diversion abroad. Yeah, it's a very easy way to stop weapons diversion. You don't send it off to the people who are going to be profiteering off of it. That's how you fix it. You don't give them the stuff that goes bang, and you just say...
No. Hell no. I refuse. No. Oh, no.
Okay, that's yeah. Well, you just say no. Okay, you just say no. You don't give them. You don't give them. Sound gun. That machine gun sucks. Okay, that one's pretty good. I like that one. Okay, we really need to work on some of your gun sounds, okay? Because that one was just okay. I don't know so much about monkey feces, but it wasn't good. All right. P Fletch in the room. I have a feeling we're gonna see some very interesting things happen around the globe. True, true. But I think the biggest damn problem is, from on high, our leadership is not so good. It's I don't know if it's monkey feces, but it's definitely. Sound guy, if you're gonna do the monkey thing, you got to do it right, okay?
Come on, squeal, squeal.
But I pooped from there.
Okay, that monkey is not having a good day. Um. Oh no, no. Oh, sound guy, that is no. Don't play that one. Um. Horizontal hair is doing obnoxious things to a 30 cal. Let's see. P Fletch have a funny. Keep an eye on China and their global movements. Okay, well, the biggest problem with China right now, jumping subjects majorly, financially, China, they're screwed. I mean, they're really screwed. Hang on a second. Let me jump over here and keep my notes solid here. I did make a note of something. Um, let's see here. Um, I know I did something with it. Hang on a second here. Keep myself straight. I made myself a note and I forgot where I sent it. Oh. Okay. There's a Chinese realty developer called Country Garden, I think, or something like that. They now are defaulting the very first time. They're defaulting on their payments, and they're in the hole for like $187 billion, not yuan or renminbi, $187 billion. So what's going on there is the realty company, it can't back itself up. And the reason being, here's the thing about why it's so screwed in China right now. In China, you make money. It's digital currency. Okay. You literally are now walking around with your phone going, oh, yeah, I just went to the grocery store. Beep, got my stuff. I'm going to ride the bus. Boop. Oh, I'm going to the ATM to transfer funds. Boop. That's literally what you're doing is you're doing all your purchases electronically. There's no physical cash available right now. So the thing about it is you get paid. They're like, okay, you have a surplus of money. You're not allowed to have a surplus of money. You need to invest it in something. And they're like, okay. Well, where do we shelter our money in because we're not allowed to have physical cash and all these other things? They're like, oh, what you need to do, and it's government approved, this is approved by the Chinese Communist Party. The only thing you can do with your money is buy real estate. So let's just say they buy a house. They bought a house for $200,000. Let's just call it units. We're not going to talk about dollars or won or renminbi or anything else like that. We're just going to simply say, or renminbi is just the people's money. It's just literally what they call the won. So it's renminbi or RMBs. So we're just going to say units. You buy a house for 200,000 units. You then put some product improvements into that house. You basically redone the kitchen. You added some stuff to it. You glitched it up. It's now supposedly worth 300,000. The next guy buys the house, not for 300,000 because you want to make a profit. You sold it to him for 400,000. Okay. The next guy has the house for 400,000. He now has to justify his investment. So he finds another person to buy it for 600,000. So that house that started out is, really low is now 3 times its value. And the next guy goes, well, I see investment property possibly here because I need to diversify my funds. I need to shelter my income. And, it's kind of expensive, but okay, I'll buy it. So he buys it for 700 or 800,000. Now, in the end run, this thing, let's just say it's maxed out. It's now worth 1 million units. When it comes time to sell it, nobody is buying. The guy that bought in low and got sold out, he made his money. The second guy made his money. The third guy made his money. The guy that now has it for the high dollar, he's screwed. And he's got to make payments on it. What's he do? Well, in China, you're not allowed to default. You have to pay for stuff. So all these guys from the top on down didn't get cash. They basically got a check that supposedly said it was worth this. And obviously, they're all making payments on the sheltered whatever pile of crap that this became. And nobody's buying. China literally has empty ghost. They call them ghost cities. They literally have built cities with skyscrapers and parks and all the rest of this stuff. Nobody lives there. And what they did was they basically sheltered their economy by building these cities that nobody is using. So everybody basically invested in all this stuff. They're now out all their cash. They try to make a run on the banks. They literally shut the banks down and put tanks in front of them saying, sorry, guys, the bank's closed today. You got to go somewhere else. So they go to the next bank of that chain. And they're not giving them any money either. So all these people are now trying to make a run on the banks, trying to take their cash out, but there's no cash to be had. That's the way the Communist Party's got this thing sheltered in such a way. You have to invest in what they say to invest in, but obviously what you've invested in ain't worth squat. Martina Sasquatch. Yeah. The housing market is 23% of their GDP. It is. And P. Fletch said also, and the ghost cities are crumbling as soon as the buildings are finished. Yeah, tofu construction. Oh, man. Well, that's the other thing, too, is there's now some states in the union. Patriot Fever said in the room about the Chinese buying into farmland in the United States and farmland, like right next to military bases. There's some states in the union that are saying, no, buy. You're done. Get out. And they're chucking them out of the state. And they're saying, you can't own property here. You're a foreign national. We don't trust what you guys are up to. You are done. Scrolly. This one does not surprise me whatsoever. Let's give me 1 second here. I need a swig. Joe Scarborough, this one coming in from newsbusters.com. He claims that 98% of congressional Republicans, quote unquote, hate Donald Trump. Now, of that, I say pretty much all of them are unworthy to speak for us in the House and Senate. Party aside, they are all self-serving whores. So Joe Scarborough claims 98% of congressional Republicans hate Trump. Scrolly. On the Morning Joe, Scarborough claimed, you talk about 98% of the members in the House and Senate Republicans, they privately hate Trump, hate him, always have. They get in front of the camera and they just sell their political soul to him. I really, truly think that anybody in the Congress or Senate, if they are not beholden to party first, they really, truly have no reason to be there except for them serving themselves, trying to enrich themselves, and set themselves up in such a way that they will have their little cadre of phone numbers which to rely upon as they become a lobbyist. Yeah, disgusting. Um, think I'm done with politics for the moment, but I'm going to jump over here with a palate cleanser. Coming in from MLN.com, they said lever action rifles that you should own. Now, of that, I only own one lever action rifle, mostly because I pretty much just said, I'm gonna standardize something on which I know very well. I'm gonna standardize my armory on the M16 AR-15 family. Now, you'll have those people going, well, why are you going to do that, dude? Well, it's very simple. You push 2 pins from the upper receiver to the lower receiver. You then can take that weapon system from 22 long rifle all the way up to 50 caliber BMG with all parts in between. Failing that, I also have an AR-10. So I also have the longer magazine, longer receiver family, which is going to be obviously, 308, 243, 6.5 Creedmoor, pretty much a whole bazillion of other stuff. I mean, I'm not hurting for things. In the room, P. Fletch said he really likes to look at the Henry Long Ranger in 5.56. Those are kind of cool. I mean, it kind of reminds me of something called the Browning BLR or the Browning lever action. And it was the same thing. I mean, basically it's rethinking the wheel. You basically have like the old Savage lever actions. I think it was the 99, I believe it was, where it had a rotary magazine, kind of like the Ruger 1022s, where it would stack the cartridges almost like the number 6. And those things were known for being just decent rifles. I mean, you pretty much had a lever action rifle that could take any kind of bullet style. It wasn't putting bullets nuts to butts where you had to worry about primer being impacted by the rounded front and all the rest of that fun stuff. And they weren't a detachable magazine per se, but they were easily loaded rotary magazines. P. Fletch, the Brownings were street shooters from what I remember. Yeah, essentially, it's very close to the idea of the Long Ranger. You basically have a box magazine that then either swings down and it's attached to the floor plate, or on the Long Ranger essentially is a dropout magazine. You push a button, and the entire box magazine drops out. Now it's only it's basically intended to be a hunting rifle, so it only holds like three or 5 rounds, I think, for the 308 version, and I think it's 3 or 5 rounds for the 223/5.56. Now, if they were to make an adapter for that to take, AR-15/M16 mags, I'd be all on board, man. That would be completely badass, and I would be completely able to say, yes, that has full dude approval. Now, there is the Fight Light, which is basically the pistol grip AR, which is kind of how to make your stuff almost acceptable to the screaming Mimiite and FUDs and whatnot, so it doesn't look so black rifle. But a lever action AR, I think there actually is some guy that messed around with it, but it's not actually a marketable item. But the only lever action rifle that I personally own is a Marlin 39A. Reason being is that thing will shoot me, man. It definitely will cloverleaf in 25 meters. And if I put my tongue exactly right in the right place, I'm shooting the same hole easily. It is a very, very accurate rifle. And the beauty of it is being the way that it is, that thing will shoot 22 long, short, long rifle, low velocity, high velocity, shot loads if I single load them. I mean, it's basically one of the better ones that you can do that with. Also, you pop one screw, it breaks in half. It literally breaks in half at the receiver, so it's easily totable. I put a scope on it, and oh man, that thing shoots like a house on fire. So anyway, in the article, they're saying lever action rifles that you should own, top expert picks. This one I think is really kind of a mulligan. The Henry rifle, it's kind of cool looking, also known as the Yellow Boy. Doesn't really do much for me. The Henry repeating rifles, they basically work really, really well. The Marlin rifles and the Winchester rifles. For anything in terms of personal reference, the easiest thing I could say is Marlin rifles have a solid top strap. They're easier to put scopes on. The Winchester rifles, you are guaranteed to get ejection out of that thing, because once you rack it, it's basically the top of the receiver is open. Oh, goody. I can hit a skip ad button. And I did. That is reprehensible. I hit the skip ad button. Those of you who don't know in the room, I actually have been talking to others, earlier. I unfortunately have the, the run ads, the in-video run ads, and I'm going to make sure that that is turned off in the future. I will not ever do that again. Ugh, YouTube. But anyway, looking at those things, I would say any of those three will hold you in good stead. If you were to get something in 30-30, you are talking about something that has zapped more warm-blooded animals in the United States and taken them home for dinner than anything on the planet. Scrolly. Scrolly. Oh, I gotta read you this one. This one, man, you want to talk about a complete and total pile of, yeah. Okay. This one coming in from newsmax.com. What a complete and total pile of pop monkey feces. Lindsey Graham-nesty. Senator Lindsey Graham, a Republican, South Carolina, went to a meltdown mode with Newsmax's Israel correspondent Daniel Cohen during a Sunday press conference in Tel Aviv. So he was in Israel being asked by a Jewish news guy, hey, let me ask you a few questions. So at the conference, Cohen asked senators why there's not a stronger condemnation, especially for those on the left, like the Democrat Representatives Rashida Tlaib of Michigan and Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, who have failed to condemn Hamas's attacks. Cohen told the senators that Tlaib's tweet is still up condemning Israel for the hospital attack that we know was a lie. At some point, Graham had been held at the podium with 9 U.S. senators standing behind him, blew his gasket. Quote, "We are not here together. We are not to talk about problems at home, which are many," an angry Graham said, pointing his finger at Cohen. "I got my own view of what to say. You're not going to screw this up," Graham continued. When Cohen interjected, he was asking a fair question. Graham again raised his voice. Quote, "You're not going to screw this up," he said. The senator then pointed to security and yelled for them to remove Cohen. Quote, "Get this guy out of here," Graham said. The Israeli security ignored Graham's request. A flustered Graham then explained himself. "I'm an American. I believe in free speech." Ironically, just a moment after ordering Cohen to be ejected from the press conference, Graham then said he didn't agree with the squad's views. Quote, "But I came here with Democrats and Republicans to let everyone in the world know, don't judge every Democrat by the squad and don't judge every Republican by some of the things you hear," he said. Tlaib and Omar are under fire for blaming Israel military for an explosion at the Al-Alahi Arab hospital, siding with the data from Hamas-controlled Gaza Health Ministry over U.S. intelligence. Tlaib posted on X, "Israel just bombed the Baptist hospital, killing 500 Palestinians, doctors, children, patients, just like that," Tlaib posted on X, citing Hamas's side of the story. But yeah, Graham eventually apologized to Cohen for the comment, attributing it to quote-unquote raw emotions surrounding the high stakes in the region. Yeah, well, you know what? If you're going to be this kind of duplicitous dick, that you're telling the guy you're for freedom and free speech and all the rest of this stuff, but then you're trying to get the guy tossed out.
You dick.
Yeah, it's Lindsey Graham-nesty. You are just
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class. You dick.
What a pile of monkey puke. You utter nasty. Yeah, just. Yeah, you steaming pile of. There's nothing I can say for you other than I think you're just. Star Wars, like, what are you trying to clean the bathroom, sound guy? Anyway.
Shut the fucking.
Oh, rooster vacuum. Anyway, so Lindsey Graham-nesty. Yeah, he's just completely screwed the pooch. And literally he just he got caught on that one big time. Yeah, he got caught on that one big time. So anyway, that pile of rooster whatever. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, sound guy. That was... What are you doing?
You sick little monkey.
Okay, he sound guy needs a timeout. That's all there is to it. Anyway, so look at the things as it is. I think we're coming up to the time period where my voice is still somewhat intact. I'm not coughing up, like gallons of yummies. gallons of yummies. Oh man, I think I'm better. Rooster vacuum fluid. You get me when I laugh. That's about it, though. Okay. Oh man. So anyway, appreciate you guys hanging out with me on this Tuesday. Got many other things to do, but you guys decided to hang out with me. I truly appreciate your kind attentions. You guys get a gold star for attendance. I truly appreciate you hanging out here with me. Have a good week. Good stuff like that there. I will make sure that the run ads do not happen again. I will not do that again. That sucks. All right, I'm gonna break out this photo, folks. Ego Papers as always, you know you love it. I will catch you guys next week. Have a good week, and if I find something else to put up there, I'll put it up in between. But I'll see you then. So catch you guys later, and have a good one. See you guys.